Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I want to thank everyone for joining us here today. Today we'll be covering the topic of how to create a targeted digital portfolio. In many ways, this will build upon the material we had in the last workshop, which was about how employers are assessing you. What we're going to do today is we're going to focus more on the individual level. We're going to take an individual job and show you how you would approach actually building up a portfolio around that job and the steps that are involved in piecing that together. Before I do get into there, I just want to give you again a little bit of a background on who we are at Acadiate. I'm Zane Westmoreland, and we also have David Murdoch on the call as well.
Good afternoon.
And we are experts in digital portfolios and talent marketing. And we have been doing this for over 10 years, working closely with student talent marketing and understanding the different nuances that pose challenges to the student and new grad demographic, especially when getting into the workforce. We're in regular contact with recruiters that represent tens of thousands of new graduate hires. And we've also found that the approach that we're telling students to follow actually leads consistently to a 3 times improvement in candidate assessment, according to surveyed recruiters. And we are actively used at universities like University of Toronto, Norwich University, Brock University, and others. So today's workshop is actually going to be a lot more hands-on, a lot more working within the platform itself, as opposed to last week's, where we covered more around the theory and the background of how employers assess you. But we're going to start by actually jumping right into some of the things that you want to think about when you go into actually applying for jobs and using digital portfolios in that means. So we're going to start at the very beginning, which is the first step that we say you always need to do when creating digital portfolios or creating any sort of job application, which is really researching the role and understanding the role that you're applying for. So that means finding your job description and getting a very thorough understanding of what it's all about and what employers are asking for from you. And to do this, I want to actually bring up a job description here for you to take a look at. And this is the one we'll be working with today. And our goal is that anything we go through today, you will see the applicability for any jobs or any roles you may be actively looking at or applying to. So this is a job at a company called Achievers, and they do engagement software for employees at companies, and they're looking for a marketing analytics coordinator. And one of the things we want to really stress to you is a lot of individuals, when they approach job descriptions, they more skim through it and then they apply. And there's actually very little thought that goes into changing up the resume and cover letter typically. They more look through the job description just to see if they see a fit between themselves and the job. Our approach and what we've seen has been very successful for students is taking a much deeper approach and making sure that this job description actually leads your resume, which in turn leads your digital portfolio. So what we're seeing here, we're going to actually follow what we call it's a kind of a traffic light approach to looking at job descriptions. And what we recommend that you do is in every job that you apply to, you read through it fully and actually have a highlighter system here. You can see on my system here, I've got a red, yellow, and green highlighters. Whether you're on Windows, Mac, or you can print it out and do it with regular highlighters, we recommend that you go through and everything that you see in green, or everything that you have the skill or experience for and can demonstrate it, you highlight it in green. Anything that you have similar or relatable skills or experiences in, you highlight it in yellow. And if you don't have any skills or experiences related to what they're looking for, you highlight it in red. And what we find is this gives you a very high level overview of understanding your fit for the job, where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, and helps you be more reflective and put together better resumes based on that more visual feedback based on the job description.
Right, and one of the things we encourage students to get into this exercise as quickly as possible and as early as possible in their preparation for graduation. This series is, focused on students who are graduating in the immediate future, but for those that are listening and are maybe a few years out, this is a great exercise to go through to, and it can tell you what we call a gap analysis, to identify more clearly where, for jobs that you're really targeted and really want on graduation, it's a great exercise to tell you where your weaknesses are and where you need to focus on improving your background. And it's maybe not necessarily improving something in the short term that is out of your control. It's more focused on looking around and recognizing, is there artifacts, or is there a way that I can better articulate that space? Where you have a green analysis, those are more easily to talk about. The red ones are important ones for you to also focus on and to really think harder how, maybe directly I don't have that skill set, but maybe if I look at it from another angle or some other things that I've done, I can actually present other ways of looking at that and increase the overall way that I'm perceived by that employer.
Right. So I'm not going to go through the entire job description today. I'm going to just do one paragraph so you can have an idea of how to do this. I will direct you after this to an area of Acadiate in the resources that can show you exactly how in depth and how detailed you need to do this exercise to see the benefits. But I'm going to start here right at the top. So it's about Achievers. So Achievers, our software delivers a powerful new way for companies to engage, align, and recognize employees, enabling remarkable business success every day. So even within that first paragraph, you should be asking yourself, in your prior roles, how have you delivered an ability to engage, align, and recognize employees? And if you have, you want to start reflecting on those experiences. They say they hire ambitious professionals. So if you consider yourself to be ambitious, that's a word you want to highlight. And if you're entrepreneurial, the thrive on entrepreneurial spirit, you also want to mention that and want to change the way the world works. So you're seeing here, we're starting to pull out a lot of values, a lot of personality values that wouldn't really be captured by skill sets you may be developing at school, but talk to the person that they want to hire. And these are important elements to incorporate into your digital portfolio and your resume. So it goes on, as Achievers employees, we are passionate about disruptive technology, welcome constant change, and understand the value of employee success in the workplace. We enjoy coming to work every day because we believe our product and love our culture. Achievers is more than just a software company. We are an industry leader in the HR space. So there's some things, if you had a background in HR, you may want to highlight that. If you have prior work with a software company, you may want to highlight that. And the important thing here is you just want to start going at this granular a level to really understand exactly what they're looking for. So what I want to point to now is I want to take you to the Acadiate site. And within the resources area, there is actually an area here called Resume Tips. And within the Resume Tips area, you will see there's a video here on how to read the job description, and also one on how to align your resume to go identically or to really fit what the job description is looking for. So I highly recommend that you go through those areas, those two videos, to really get a deeper understanding of the level you need to go to. The next step you want to do is you want to take it one step further, is you want to go beyond just what they're saying on their job description, and you want to actually visit their website, because there's a lot of valuable hints about what a company is looking for and the type of person they're looking for there. So I'm going to usually go to the Who We Are or the About Us area. And here you want to take notice of what is their mission, right? So their mission is to change the way the world works. Our employee success platform is specifically designed to drive higher levels of employee engagement. and it's built to align everyone with business objectives and company values, driven by recognizing shared victories every day. It is designed to make success a way of life. So this is their mission, and as a part of your application, you want to be able to convey that you believe in their mission and that you can help them work towards achieving that mission. The other piece you want to look at is you want to go down further, and this one has actually values that they believe in, and their values ranges from focus on customer happiness, living passionately, embracing real-time communication, all the way to learning from failure and celebrating success. And the important thing here for you to understand is these help you understand the personal attributes that they're looking for in an individual. And if you remember from our last workshop, this is an area that a lot of students, a lot of new grads won't be talking to. A lot of student applications will be more focused on the hard skills, the skills that they learned in school. But this gives you a good indication of the types of personal attributes you're looking for. So if you do have these elements in your personality, you want to make sure that they are very clearly demonstrated to the employer, whether on your resume or in your digital portfolio.
Yeah, and this is actually an important area where students can dramatically improve their job applications, typically taking them from a low quartile to a top quartile application in the eyes of recruiters, because they're typically evaluating your application almost 3/4, 75%, based upon your fit to their corporate culture. About 25% is corporate culture, another 25% is fit within the team, and another 25% is fit with your immediate reporting manager, with the last 25% really around competencies, your ability to do the job. This particular company is far more explicit around their culture. They actually say it in their at the top of their job posting, and it's interesting how their website is actually reinforces that. So it's very important in your applications to address that and make sure you're mirroring back these values and these thoughts, and also taking it to heart. Does it align with how you look at the world, and reiterating that. And so this is where you can dramatically improve your job application, as Zane points out, by addressing this. And this is often an area that most applicants don't address.
So what you want to do now that you've done some research, and you want to take some time, it would be probably at least 20 to 30 minutes of really going through this, understanding what they're looking for, who they're about, and then you're making a call on, is this a right fit for you, and can you put together a compelling application for this particular job? And if the answer is yes, then you're ready to start putting your application together. So we suggest to students, the first thing you want to always do is get your resume right. And in getting your resume right, we suggest going through, as I mentioned before, go through the resources we have on the platform, but I'll take you through a very quick overview of what we want to see in a resume. So a resume should have your name very easily understandable, big and bold. It should also have a direct branding statement to help the recruiter or the reviewer understand where you're coming from. So in this case, we could say we're a positive marketing analytics coordinator. It could be an ambitious, it could say whatever you'd like, but it's important that they understand right off the bat that the person you are is aligned with the job that they're advertising. Next, you want to take it into the summary of skills. And the summary of skills gives you a way to take out the 3 to 5 biggest takeaways you want that recruiter to know about you if they didn't know anything else. So usually these will actually be taken out of the different places within your resume, whether it's your education or experience. So just make sure they are also listed in order. And as I mentioned, we could actually talk about how to do resume writing for over an hour. So we do recommend that you check out the resources area on how to do this properly. but you do want to go through and each of these sections describe the degree and the courses and how they relate to the particular job, and also talk about the relevant skills that were performed at the job for the job that you're applying for. So all these things are really important, but the important thing is once you have that done, you go ahead and upload it under your resume and CV. So I'm going to go ahead into this area, and we're going to upload a resume and CV, and I'll just call this my first resume, and I'll say it is for Achievers. And I'll select the PDF. Oh, sorry, the wrong file there. We want the resume. And we'll just go ahead and save that. And we can see we have our resume up here. The next thing we want to start adding is just some more elements that we want to include in our digital portfolio. So as you go through your resume, you want to ask yourself if you have any evidence of the things that you are speaking about on your resume. So for example, if you say you have experience in doing reports and things like that, you want to see if you can provide a document or evidence of a report you've done in the past. So I'm going to add an example report that I've done in the past here. And I'll go ahead and select the PDF of it, of an analysis report example, and I'll add this in. And it's important here to use the description area to give some context to the recruiter of why you're showing them this document. So you could say something like this is a report I created last year in an internship. It demonstrates my skills in reporting and analysis. And you'd be more in depth, and you'd want to really explain to them why you're showing this to them so that they understand what you want them to take out of that document. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. So right there, we've got 2 items already added in. The next thing we want to do is, if possible, we do recommend trying to get reference letters or references in. We've seen that it's very helpful, especially in a world where employers are less trusting. They anticipate that a lot of candidates are going to be self-biased, and you're going to put your best foot forward. Having a third-party opinion on you helps a lot, and helps you really separate yourself, because most of the people you're competing against won't be giving that reference point for recruiters to assess. So I'm going to go ahead here and put in a quick reference letter. So I've got a reference letter here from Alton Williams, who's a past employer. And I'll just go ahead and put his name in there, and we'll save that as well. And last but not least, the one other thing we're going to include in this digital portfolio for now is a link. And you can add links from all over the internet. For this cases, we're just going to add a LinkedIn link, but you can easily add things from Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, really wherever you've got content online. But be careful with what you add, and make sure that all the links that you add are prepared to be looked at by an employer. So if you add your Facebook, for example, you want to make sure that Facebook you've screened through it and made sure that everything looks at the level you want to be perceived as. The other thing you want to make sure with the links you choose is that that they're relevant to the job. So if showing your Facebook profile has no implication or no connection to the job, then we recommend don't include it. Include links that can help reinforce your value, and reinforce the skills or the person that you are telling the employer that you are. So for example, if you have Instagram and it shows a lot of your personality as being ambitious and out there and entrepreneurial, then that is something you'd want to include, because it demonstrates those values or or that personality element in your application.
Right, and this is the beauty of digital portfolios. One of the realities of applying for jobs in today's world is recruiters are very jaded. In fact, a lot of surveys show that they believe that 80 to 90% of the job applications they receive are misleading, or are full of outright lies. So they're very skeptical of the applications that they receive, that the skill sets or the background that's represented to them is the full truth or is genuine. And the beauty of digital portfolios as part of the application process is that it can go deeper and provide proof. And that's actually very important in the application process, because it's very risky for them to go through all the extra effort to get into an interview or to shortlist you, and then you don't pass, the background checks. So the more that they can be comfortable with what you're saying is actually truthful and can be well supported, can dramatically improve your screening. So this is part of the benefits of digital portfolios, is that you can go this extra mile, and where you can support these skill sets, do it, and be thinking about looking all around how you can build out these artifacts or this supporting background to reinforce the branding that you want to project.
Yeah. So now we've added a few elements. We've added a resume, a supporting document, a reference letter, and also a link. We're ready to start putting this together in a digital portfolio. On Acadia, we call the digital portfolio a showcase, and there's different showcases that you can create. And we've got some pictures here of the different types you can have. You can have a simple sort of bio showcase. You can use one for education, but we've also got one that's more for the job market. So we're going to go ahead and create one of those. We'll click create a showcase. And we can give our showcase a name. I usually recommend using the company name and the job title. But in this case, I'm only going to be applying to one Achievers jobs. So I'll just include Achievers as my showcase name. Underneath that, we can also see that we have the ability to say who it's created for. So this is a very important step, because it helps the recruiter, when they open up your showcase, understand that this digital portfolio isn't the same digital portfolio that you're sending out to 100 different organizations, but that you actually took the time and effort to put something specifically together for them. And having this understanding helps them better allocate time towards reviewing your digital portfolio, or they feel more compelled to do that for you because they figure you've put in the time for them. So I'm going to go ahead in here and add in the job title here, which is Marketing Analytics Coordinator. The company is Achievers. And the reviewer's name, we're not sure, although in the job description, it did say you'd be reporting directly to the chief marketing officer or working closely with the chief marketing officer. And we can find that name from their website that we saw earlier. So we could actually go here quickly and look and see, okay, their chief marketing officer's name is actually Tony Hosever. And we can copy that and actually put that into our name here. So that's also another great way to stand out, is to be able to address the hiring person directly. If you're not sure who it'll be, you can just put in hiring manager. So I'll go ahead and save this showcase and then take a look to see what we've built so far. So you can click on view here, and you can see so far we've just got a name here. It says analytics, and we've got some things to add at this point. So I'm going to go back into our showcase, and the next thing we want to add is a simple resume. Let's just get a resume in here for now so that we can have a document in here. And we can go back to our showcase again, and we'll refresh it and see how it's starting to render. Okay, so we're starting to see it's coming together. We're starting to build pieces up. And let's go back in and see what else we can add to this. So in the next tab over, we have what we call targeted message. So the targeted message is basically the core information that you want to convey to the recruiter in a very fast and simple way. So for the cases of this, we want to say that we are in our resume, we actually called ourselves Positive Marketing Analytics Coordinator. So I'm going to use the same branding statement here. And then we move into the next step, which is 3 to 5 most relevant skills for the job. And although it says skills, you can also include personality traits here. So you can put things like, as we know, they're looking for someone ambitious. They're looking for somebody with entrepreneurial spirit. And they are also looking for somebody with strong analytical skills. And right there, we've got 3 items there. And then we can move on to the next item, which is a showcase message. A showcase message, think of it as a mini cover letter. If you could summarize your cover letter into a paragraph, that's what your showcase message would be. A lot of the times it's welcoming them, thanking them for viewing your showcase. And then saying, thank you for viewing my showcase. Please be sure to check out, and then you can continue on from there. Or you can also say, some of the more pertinent points of why you feel you are a great fit for their job. So we're going to save this here, and we're going to go again into here and see how that's upgrading. So we're seeing now we've got this area here. It's starting to come there. Our relevant skills are here. Now the next step we're going to go into here is appearance. So we can choose a background, and there's several backgrounds included by default. And you can also change and add your own background as well. So really up to you how you want to approach this. But for now, I'm just going to take a background from here. And the other important thing here is we can select a photo and add a photo. So adding a photo is a very important thing because it helps the recruiter understand and reinforce that they're not hiring a piece of paper, but that there is a person, a human being behind the application. And this can help you to connect on an emotional level with the reviewer. So now that I've saved that, I'm going to go ahead here and we're going to refresh this, and you can see how much of a difference that's immediately made to our application. So now that we have this in place, we're ready to add some of the other elements that we've added into our library, and that was our supporting example, our reference, and also our LinkedIn profile. And we'll go ahead and save those and reflect it here as well to see. So now we've got our profile link, we've got our supporting documents that the recruiter can go in and review, and we've also got our reference letter available here as well.
Right. So I can maybe just a little bit add that, for quickness and convenience, we haven't included a targeted video cover letter. But this is actually one of the areas where new graduates can dramatically improve their prospects by including one. And digital portfolio is the best way for communicating that. If you can create, a 1 or 2 minute targeted video cover letter, you can dramatically improve and standing out to the recruiters. In fact, recruiters have ranked a targeted video cover letter as important in a job application, only eclipsed by a resume. Actually rank it ahead of a written cover letter. So something to think about as assets to include, as Zane is showing here, that a video cover letter is a great way to differentiate yourself and stand out from the crowd.
All right. So one of the things I hope you notice as we're going through this process is it is very much a create and reflect process. So we keep adding things to our digital portfolios, and we keep looking at it, reviewing it, and trying to see things from the recruiter's point of view, and then taking that insight and going back into the showcase and making improvements that make more sense, and that make improvements over time. One of the things that I'd recommend that you do is get this showcase out in front of a peer, a family member, friends, because they'll often catch a lot of things that you don't see, and they'll be able to provide you with a sense of feedback that you wouldn't be able to provide yourself. And to do that is actually very easy. Every showcase on Acadia, it has a private link, and you just have to copy the private link, and you can actually share that with anybody online and receive that feedback. So it's a very important step to do. And you can see right here, this is just the foundation of a digital portfolio, but you can add a lot of incredible content to this that can build it up and really put you into the top quartile of the candidates applying for any given job when you take this targeted digital portfolio approach to applying to jobs. So in just conclusion of this, I just want to reiterate how important it is first to spend a disproportionate amount of time on researching the job description, researching the company, using that to drive your decisions around how you put together your resume, cover letter, and then using that to help you understand how to best put together a digital portfolio. And the important thing here with a digital portfolio is you don't want to send a recruiter 30, 40, 50 items. That's actually counterproductive. They've told us that it actually makes you more confusing as a candidate. What you want to do is to curate and to only send, between 3 to 10 items that are extremely relevant to the role they're hiring for, and that they can understand quickly and easily why you're sending them those items. So we've now hit 30 minutes. I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to review this workshop with us, and we look forward to seeing the digital portfolios and showcases that you put together for your future jobs. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.